have way I have way too much energy for the stream. What's up, guys? So today I had a memory from maybe a year or two ago where someone was trending, and it was over having difficulties on a plane seat and how there was an outrage over them being charged for two seats, or it became an issue to figure out whether they should pay for two seats or whatever. So then I decided that I would just immerse myself into my thoughts and see what I have to say on this matter. And honestly, this is not as simple as it looks because you guys know me. I am, to the best of my ability, I like to be kind, nice, sweet, accepting, understanding, considerate, tolerant, accommodating people, being a people person, being respectful, just making people feel good and boost them. But there is this shady side to me that you guys do not have full disclosure on. So some of that may show today, but just hang in there with me. It depends how I look at this issue. If I look at it from a business perspective, I need to understand how stuff is sold. Is it sold by people or is it sold by seat? Because if I would expect that a seat is representative of a person. So if a plane can accommodate 150 people, I would expect that it is 150 seats that are going to be occupied during a full flight. Now, in a movie theater, if it's 50 seats that are available for sale and the theater is full, I would expect that it has a capacity for 50 people. Therefore, if someone who is occupying more than one seat comes in, they should have to pay for two seats because I look at it as an upgrade, added comfort. I know that is messed up because if someone is large, it's like they need to be able to fit into a seat, and the seats are not designed for people who are above average in size. But at the same time, I think this is my shady part coming in, that there needs to be some kind of control. I don't want to call it a penalty, although it technically is, but I think we need to somehow make people accountable for their body shape. However, I understand that there are cases where people cannot help their size. It could be genetics, it could be medical conditions, it could be a number of things. The solution to that would be create some kind of a special identification for these people to be able to show and be like, I'm not fat because I want to, I can't help it. So that way, it's kind of fair. But if you are large due to, let's be blunt about it, irresponsibility, I don't think that's our fault. To the rest of us who work hard and take our health seriously, why should we be like paying the consequences for you? So, you guys know how there's like, I don't know if this was just a thing in history or if it's still present. I think it is a thing in the present, but fuel, gasoline or something, they have a special tax called excise tax. I really don't know what it is, but I know it has its reason for being there. Well, if you are a larger person, then there needs to be a tax for situations like this so that the business people who are trying to make their money and they have their rules set have a way to defend themselves. But in addition, we don't want to necessarily pick on people who cannot do anything about it. But at the same time, because, especially in this country, because everything is a business, you can be like, all right, if you want to be big, you can be big, but you have to understand that there are consequences for that. So, in a sense, it makes both the consumer accountable, but also the business, because it's like, okay, you got to create some kind of program that accommodates people like this. If you are going to, what can I say, count this person's attendance as two souls. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm asking. It depends how business run it. If it's the seat that costs, then okay, I would look at it as this larger person needs an accommodation and therefore it's added comfort. So they should have to pay for it. But if it's sold by the number of tickets or the number of people present, then the whole thing of charging for an extra seat is kind of nonsense. See what I mean? So, yeah, you guys, like I said, it's one of those things that it's kind of tricky when you think about it because you want to be fair with everybody and you don't want to just pick someone or offend them and whatever, but business is business. And if the rule is that it's the seat that is being sold, then that needs to be respected. But businesses, what they could do is be like, okay, if you're going to occupy two seats, I'm not going to penalize you for it, but I guess I should, what can I say? In place of penalizing you for it, I should charge you just a little bit extra, but not quite the full price of a second seat. You know how movies are like, what, $12 a ticket? Well, instead of making it $12 for the extra seat, make it like six. So the business is still losing, but they will not lose you entirely, which is if you offend them, an offended customer is not likely to go back to, say, that movie theater. So, in a situation like that, at least it's fair on you, as in you don't have to be completely charged as if you're two people, but then the company is also like, all right, we lose a little bit, but we do not lose you completely. See what I mean? So, I think that is a better solution. And on the note of giving people a special ID, I don't really agree with that 100% because I feel like it's like putting a label on you, like a sticker of shame. So it's like I think it should be on your actual ID, like your identification card, and then have like a little handicap symbol on it that is representative of this person needs special accommodations, just like your vehicle tag can have the handicap symbol and all that good stuff. So see what I mean? But like I said, it's kind of tricky. It's a simple matter, but when you think about it critically, it gets complicated. So you guys were posting some stuff, so let me see what you guys are saying. You're saying, yeah, Special ID has a gold star. Hi and hey. All right, greetings, you guys. Let me know your thoughts on this one because it's one of those things that I'm kind of divided on. And I want to say that I want to side with the side of like the business in the sense of it's being sold by seat. So therefore, you'd have to pay for two seats, but at the same time, it's offensive. There is a degree of offense to it, but at the same time, like I said, if you're large like that because you are not responsible, then why should we be accommodating you? See what I mean? All right. A few years ago, there was a larger lady that I had to sit next with. I had one ass cheek on the seat and the other hanging from the side. Attendant noticed my issue and gave me business class for free. See? There you go. You were taken care of. That's an example of outstanding customer service on that part. But like I said, what if this would have been a full flight? You have to suffer through this trip because this person did not get the two seats that she clearly needed. How do we resolve that? Anyways, you guys, that's all that I have to say on this matter. There's really nothing else that my brain can come up with to like just prolong this any further. But I would love to hear your thoughts because it's crazy. It's crazy. And let's see, I got one more comment. It sounds like you're talking a little about the question of whether or uh, the question of whether or not obesity is a disability. It's a tricky subject. Well, I guess in a sense, yeah. Yeah. I guess you can say that. Um, it is. See, obesity is a handicap because think about it. You don't have the same flexibility and physical capability as smaller people. But at the same time, being too small can be a form of disability because you usually tend to be a weaker person. Like if you don't have muscle to you, you cannot exert yourself physically the way that more fit and built people can. So, like I said, when it comes to having to accommodate you for being large, it's kind of like, how do we see this as? Because this person can look at that as the business is discriminating against them, and therefore the business can get sued because you're discriminating against a larger person and you're trying to, in a sense, scam them by charging them extra. So, like I said, if the business is legally entitled to selling stuff by the seat, then yeah, then okay, if you're big, you're occupying two seats, the rule is the rule, you have to pay double. But see what I mean? It's kind of simple, but it gets complicated the more you think about it. Let's see. I agree it's a tricky subject. Over the years, airlines have positioned seats closer to get more passengers on the plane. Exactly. So that's another part. Airlines are businesses. They're trying to make that extra money. So, in a sense, they have gotten rid of that extra, I guess, comfort that you would automatically get from just being on board this plane. But as time passes, stuff evolves. So, this is a problem that I guess was not foreseen when this stuff was being, you know, done and changed, amended. So like, you know, how do we solve this? I don't know. I'm glad that I don't have a business where I sell stuff by the seat because I'm compelled to play that by ear, man. It's like, am I here for the money? Yes. But am I going to lose my soul over it and make someone have a hard time? How often do you get an extremely large person to where you're losing that extra money from not having sold that seat? See what I mean? But there's the people out there whose ambition is just too great to be able to see past that. See what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like I was saying in the beginning, I like to be sweet and nice and accommodating and just tolerant and all that stuff that makes me all gushy and everything. But not everybody thinks like I think. I like to own the situation, but some people like to really go by the rule. It's policy. So I just let them have it. It's their problem. I don't run the business. But if I have a large person next to me, you better believe that I'm going to do something about it if I'm uncomfortable. Because I do not have to suffocate through a flight, especially if I were in an international flight. You know what I'm saying? No, no, no. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.